African Development Bank to invest $120 million in agriculture within the next 2 to 3 years. Commercial banks lending to customers drop in first quarter of 2018. Plus, traditional trades thrive in Aba, where business and national integration coexist. Good to have you join us again on this edition of Business Express. I am Musa Abubakar. Well, let's start with business development. The African Development Bank says it will invest $120 million between the next 2 and 3 years to boost productivity and transform cassava and other 8 commodities in Africa. The 9 commodities are cassava, rice, maize, sorghum, millet, wheat, livestock, aquaculture, high iron beans, and orange flesh sweet potatoes. Director for Agriculture of the bank, Dr. Martin Fregene, said transforming cassava on the African continent will help African nations to cut imports and redirect about $1.2 billion into African domestic economies. The bank's investment in cassava comes at a time when African governments are scaling up efforts to end food imports and create wealth. With the largest volume of cassava coming from Africa, cassava supports more than 350 million people in Africa. Nigeria's multicultural and multi-dynamic nature is demonstrated in many aspects of her national life. Some traditional trades and professions have also remained relevant till date. So when you hear of Hausa line in Abia State, what comes to your mind? Leah Katumbabatunde in this report tells us how a generation of northern apparel designers are eking out a living in the heart of Aba, the commercial city of the southeast.
Of the diverse cultures in Nigeria, it stands out with garments and apparels and sometimes trades and professions indigenous to them. Cameron Road in Aba is home to an array of clothing designers from various states in northern Nigeria who are making a living away from home. Musa Bala from Plateau State is the leader of northern tailors in this place called Hausa Line in the heart of Aba.
Really, I first stay at Umuahia. Then from Umuahia, I stay for like 2-3 years before coming to Aba. Purposely because there are some machines which are here and which are used by some people. Some people here cannot be able to operate that machine. But for we Northerners, already we know how to operate those machines.
Hand embroideries are designs synonymous to northern Nigeria but have somehow caught the attention of people in the east.
We give them what they want, and it's only here you can see a different design every day. So that is about for you.
He narrates how he is able to steadily send some bills home and why he and other tailors like him in Aba would rather remain there.
I'm able to sponsor some of my brothers in school and a lot of things. So I thank God for that.
Have you married a wife here?
No, I'm not. I tried sometimes, but I'm not able. But I am praying to the second one will be an Igbo girl.
The improvement in infrastructure, acceptance, and the growing national integration of factors that the likes of Musa say are driving them as they look forward to more patronage.
Okay, micro and small and medium enterprises in the country are having good times as government continues to unfold policies that will improve their operations. The latest is the nationwide survey to generate statistics that will provide dependable data on SMEs in the country. Mopland Akok has that report.
It is in recognition of the fact that micro, small and medium-scale enterprises, MSMEs, play significant roles in transition from agriculture to industrial economies, as well as employment, that countries the world over pay attention to them. Nigeria's slow pace of development has partly contributed to the poor performance of her MSMEs. This informed efforts by the present government towards providing a reliable data as one of the factors to enable adequate planning. With the last baseline survey conducted in 2013, which shows that Nigeria has 37 million MSMEs employing 59.7 million persons, this workshop is preparatory to a national MSME survey for the year 2017. Scheduled to commence next week. Here, the collaborating institutions are brainstorming on strategies and instruments for the field work.
Based on international best practice, we should be able to have data because without data you cannot even plan. So if we don't know how many people are in formal businesses, how many are formal, how many are in small, how many are in medium, we won't be able to have intervention programs. What we intend to do is to make sure that we run this as quickly as possible so that we can conclude everything within 2-3 months. So we'll still have the survey result this year.
First of all, we have separated just collecting the data from formal sector only to include informal sector. For the last time we used a paper questionnaire. The use of electronics was limited to data processing. In the field of data collection now, we are going to make use of the electronic data collection system.
900 households from all states of the Federation will be used as samples.
Our report sets the stage for our discussion on the availability of dependable data on SMEs towards enhanced policy formulation, planning and development. And joining me for this is Mr. Isiaka Olari Waju of Real Sector and Household Statistics Department of the National Bureau of Statistics. It's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And with him, it's Mr. Dr. Robert Owai, a Director of Planning, Research, Monitoring and Evaluation with SMEDEN.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's look at survey on SMEs in general. Why is it that there's no regular, it seems like there's no regular data on SMEs?
It has to do with the history itself of the subsector. The MSME subsector only began to get the attention it deserved by year 2003, you could say specifically, when government set up the coordinating agency for MSME development, which is the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria. When we came on board in 2003, getting data on which to backstop intervention for the subsector, like you have rightly said, was one of the major challenges that we had to confront. Okay. Essentially, apart from the confusion about classification of the enterprises, we also had to contend with the issue of data for the subsector, essentially knowing the number of the MSMEs, what productive sectors they operate in, their contribution to the economy. These were all challenges which the young agency SMEDEN had to confront. Our initial response in terms of obtaining this data, we also found out did not meet our expectations, and so this state of affairs continued until about 2010, when we now went into this strategic collaboration with the National Bureau of Statistics, which you know too well, is the apex agency for production of socioeconomic statistics in Nigeria. So since then, the story has changed. We have an MOU binding our two institutions to this collaboration, and we are obliged once every 3 years to update the statistics of the sector to give us a fresh picture of what the current status is. And so that is the situation as of today.
Okay. Okay. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I would like to join by saying that you may think that this type of survey is conducted annually to provide regularly the indicators necessary to monitor the process. Yeah. However, I would like to inform us that there are some indicators that does not necessarily change so rapidly, and therefore you don't need to, measure those kind of indicators annually. For the fact that we started this survey in 2010 and we were able to repeat in 2013, the 2010 data became the baseline on which to judge the performance of the sector in subsequent years. So far, so good. We are now on the third round of the survey.
Okay. How do you plan all these years, considering the fact that you don't have most recent available data? How do you plan for SMEs?
No, he has. I think he has said it.
Okay.
There was a basis for updating the subsector every 3 years. We have a reliable basis, like he has said, that within 3 years, within 3 years or less, the statistics that have been gathered remain reliable. So we had our research had already set that baseline. So the implication is that once every 3 years, there's a need to renew this, the status of the subsector.
Okay.
There are issues.
How useful is this survey to economic development of the country?
Yeah, the survey itself reveals the status of the subsector. Essentially, the survey tells us about of course, we must distinguish between surveys and censuses. What we are doing in this instance is a survey. So a survey gives you estimates, not total count. And so the survey which we do gives us an estimate of the total number of MSMEs in Nigeria. It tells us about their distribution by state and by sectors. It tells us about their contribution. It tells us about their contribution to job creation and wealth creation. In this case, we're talking about the nominal contribution to GDP. It tells us about the challenges which the sector is currently facing. So these are some of the very important indicators that emerge from the conduct of this survey once every 3 years.
Okay, what are the challenges in data generation on SMEs?
Well, just as any other data collection, the first challenge we do have is the response rate from the sample establishment. In the past, it was difficult even achieving up to 60% of the required response. And for the fact that some establishments believe that whatever is the problem they have it was caused by government, and once you are a government agency, you have to, be part of that the problem. So they are looking for solutions to the problem which they believe you are unable to solve, and therefore refusing to return the questionnaire. We also have the problem of monitoring, but now we have started to use electronic data collection system, use of computer-assisted personal interview tools, which we use to, collect data directly, and it is now faster in processing the data. Generally, too, this goes across all activity. Fund may not be sufficient for taking the right sample size necessary to measure an indicator, in which case you have to, abide by the degree of precision that the fund you have could go with.
Okay, you're in charge of the 2017 survey that will soon commence.
Yes.
How optimistic are you of doing a good job that will impact on the economy?
Oh, very, very optimistic that we are going to do a very good job. And because of the reason of the improvement in our system of data collection over the past, we have been using paper questionnaire, particularly for the informal sector. Now that we are using electronic data collection system, it will be difficult for any of our operative enumerators to, forge data, and then the ease of data processing is also there. And then we are going to do a lot of pre-survey activity to enlighten the public about the survey, to give more, a wide publicity coverage. And we're using this medium to appeal to our intending respondent to please cooperate with the Bureau.
Okay, Mr. Roberts, Smeden has been, over the years, responsible for the development of small and medium scale enterprises. What role do they have to play in this particular survey we're talking about?
Well, we are responsible for calling, as it were, or demanding or requesting this survey. Okay. NBS is our technical partners to deliver it. So this is the complementary role that we play in delivering this survey. And if I may add to the issue that you raised earlier on about the confidence that we have in delivering good sources at this time, apart from the fact that we already have experience behind us, because we'll be doing this since 2010. After the two rounds, that is 2010, 2013, as the two collaborating institutions, we had to sit together to reflect on our experiences, because we wanted to be sure that we're doing better than we had done before. So our experiences is what has gone into bettering the design and the questionnaire stock that we tend to use for this current exercise. But we did not just stop there. Like you noticed at the workshop yesterday, we had to invite the sector, as it were, to essentially validate these instruments that we have already worked on. So this is the reason why, in addition to what he said, why we are confident of doing better this time around.
Okay, when is the result of the survey expected?
We expect to have a draft report by the end of August, but by the middle of September, we are likely to have the final report.
Okay, when is the result of the, what should SMEs expect from the survey?
Yes, I think this is a very crucial question. And it's also part of the reason why we expect them to cooperate with us on the field, because the issue arises time and again. Okay. What does an MSME benefit from filling out a questionnaire? Okay, it's part of the challenges we face on the field. Okay. Yeah, they should be interested because it's about them. It's not about Smeden. Neither is it about the NBS. Okay. So that essentially, this is the information that is going to guide government intervention in the subsector.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Roberts and Mr. Olariwaju. Let's leave it there. Okay. In spite of the improvements in the business activities, as well as the recovery recorded by the Nigerian economy, banks have continued to avoid lending to the public as the loan books of most banks declined in the first 3 months of 2018, while 11 banks loaned out 15.385 trillion naira. By December 2017, it dropped to 14.346 trillion naira in the first quarter of this year, a contraction of about 6.75%. The total banking sector credit to the public, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, stood at 15.7 trillion naira as at December 2017. MBS report says of the 11 banks comprising Access Bank, Zenith Bank, United Bank for Africa, FBN Holdings, Sterling Bank, EcoBank, Stanbic IBTC, Diamond Bank, Fidelity Bank, and Union Bank, only one recorded an increase in its loan book. Meanwhile, the Monetary Policy Committee of the CBN had held benchmark lending rates at 14% at the end of its last meeting in May, citing delay in 2018 budget and upcoming election. The Nigerian stock market extends gaining streak as NSE All-Share Index firm up Tuesday. Here's Bosede Ebel with highlights of market activity.
The Nigerian Stock Exchange continued its bullish sentiment Tuesday. The All-Share Index climbed 0.83% to end the session 39,167.04 basis points, with market capitalization at 14.1 trillion naira. 341 million shares valued at 5.1 billion naira was traded in 3,769 deals. United Capital PLC, Dank Sugar and Africa Prudential top trades to boost market turnover for the day. Seplat, Nestle and Mobil led gainers chart, while Guinness and Nascon topped the losers table.
Nigeria remains a force in the production of non-oil commodities across the 6 geopolitical zones. Here are current commodity prices. The numbers for the latest global stock markets.
African equities closed mostly high Tuesday, with JSE Africa Top 40 adding 73.96 points. Nairobi All-Share gained 0.02%. Tunidex climbed 0.28%. Namibia overall 0.06%, while Ghana GSE Composite declined 0.51% at 2,986.84. U.S. markets closed mixed Tuesday. S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite climbed 0.17 and 0.57%, while Dow Jones Industrial Average declined 0.01% to end the session at 25,320.73. In Asia, equities closed high on Tuesday, with Nikkei, Topics and Hang Seng Index posting gains of more than 4 points. Meanwhile, European equities ended Tuesday's session on a negative note. FTSE 100 declined 0.43%, DAX depreciated 0.61 points, and CAC 40 fell 0.38%.
How's Nigeria's currency, the Naira, exchanging for other international currencies? Take a look. That concludes our package for today. Let's do it again on Friday, same time, same station. I am Musa Abubakar. Thanks for watching.